Let's go big picture here. There's clearly a trend with MLS beating Liga MX. Do you see that trend continuing in the next 5 to 10 years as we're seeing it right now?
In the All-Star game or in
overall, big picture, because I think people
picture.
will see this result and they'll tie it to all the things that we've seen in CONCACAF.
I think we're at a really
we're
at a really interesting time here with MLS, because I see MLS moving at a very, very rapid pace. And I see Liga MX, of course, moving forward, but maybe not at the rate that the MLS, right? But Liga MX is a giant, and the talent is overwhelming. So, you know, it's got to collide, and it's very, very close right now. And MLS does some things that are actually better than Liga MX. Liga MX does some things that are better than MLS, but I think it's great in North America that we've got two incredible leagues that are going to compete, and this is going to push Liga MX. As this league does better, Liga MX is going to push.
Yeah, it's almost a double whammy if you're Liga MX, if you're a Mexican soccer fan. I mean, not only are they stealing the shine off your star, because the most watched league in the States isn't the Premier League. It isn't La Liga. Yeah. It's not even the Champions League.
Not MLS.
It's not MLS. No, it's Liga MX. And by a landslide. So not only are they stealing your shine off of that, but they're beating you at your own game. That has to be frustrating. We talk about the trend. Will it continue? I mean, all signs are pointing to yes.
It's hard to see a way back,
I don't see a situation right now where it's, with all due respect, DC United and the Galaxy win, right? CONCACAF Champions League, and then you go 2 decades without. Yep. I don't see that happening right now, not with the amount of money that Major League Soccer's been investing, though I do see a knee-jerk reaction by Mexican soccer to it.
Ben, you've been around us, especially from the MLS Liga MX perspective, for a long time. I'm thinking more from like the managerial role, where you know what your budgets are, you know what their budgets are. Can you take me back to 2012, 13, 14? I think in one of those years you're competing, actually 2 of them, 14 and 15 in the CONCACAF Champions League. How different is it now for MLS teams as they go into these markets and trying to compete with Liga MX?
Yeah, they're going toe-to-toe now.
Right.
Like, back then, it wasn't toe-to-toe, right? It was not even close, and we had some special teams back then. You know, we had some one-offs with those special DC United early years, and we were able to have some success against them. But now you're able to put together a roster with the finances and the support and the infrastructure to compete against the best teams in Liga MX.
You know,
is it just down to money, man?
It is, because I was going to say, you took the words out of my mouth. The crazy thing is they're going directly to the supplier, right? They're going to where, like, European teams go and get their guys. They're going there as well. They're selling players now that they think, hey, it's run his course or their course with Major League Soccer. Here you go, River. Here you go, Boca. And also, they have the power where guys who maybe are on that bubble, on a decision to stay in Liga MX, you know what? We'll offer you some cake over here. So they're getting a big piece of that pie.
Can I ask one thing about European players in the Mexican league?
Yes.
Do you see this changing at all in the near future?
I think it has happened, right, with the injection, I should say, of the French footballer in Liga MX. You've seen a European.
But those guys, sorry to cut you off, but those guys are not stars on the level that we're seeing come to MLS. Gignac's a big name. He's a great player.
Your Ronaldinho's.
Ronaldinho was a blip 10 years ago.
I'm saying. Your Ronaldinho,
Dani Alves
are blips. They're one-offs, if you will.
It's not Bale, Bernardeschi, Chiellini,
and it's certainly not in the same window. Thank you.
We work together way too much, bro.
Way too much. Unbelievable.
Reading each other's mind, finishing each other's thoughts. Go ahead and finish your thought. I didn't want to cut you off there.
No, it's just what it is. It's just, in order for this to be something for them, to answer your question, Ben, it can't be a one-off.
Yeah.
It can't be Bebeto came to play in Liga MX. It can't be, you know, Butragueño came to play in Liga MX. It can't be Ronaldinho. It can't be Dani Alves. Just one every decade. It's got to be more, and it's got to be consistently for it to really take off.
You know, we're talking right now about bringing players from Europe to Liga MX. I think the other part of this equation is what you're doing in the exportation market, right? MLS has just made a killing over the last few transfer windows, sending young players, some of them really inexperienced, to big leagues in Europe. Is Liga MX going to continue what we've seen over the last couple weeks, which means like all of a sudden they woke up and said, hey, we got to do this business too?
So I mentioned a knee-jerk reaction. That is it right there.
Right.
We've got to start exporting players. We have to send them because that's what they are doing. The U.S. men's national team, MLS, the American player, the U.S. men's national team eligible player. They're being exported at such a young age. For the longest time, and Seb, you know this very well, the idea in Mexican football was completa tu proceso. You have to complete your cycle, your process in Mexican football, and then you graduate to European football. What? What?
Right.
Why?
Especially when we see like the Philadelphia Union selling guys who've hardly played to Serie A. I mean, that's really the difference between the two leagues. And it seems like Europe really wants these MLS players. There's a lot of interest in that market.
Yeah, there's a lot of eyes here. And we are, as a league, MLS as a league, is starting to figure out a little bit of this pathway in the way that Mexico, I think, has figured out a pathway a long time ago. I think they've done a great job of progressing youth into the ranks, and but we here now, I think, have a real pathway for youngsters to go.
You know what, Ben? It's easy to get the owners on board in Major League Soccer because everything's pooled,
right?
Single entity, so everybody's pulling in
Yeah.
the same direction. In Liga MX, it's almost like the English FA. Each team has a say in what happens in the federation, has a say in what happens with the national team. Each team negotiates their own TV rights, own merchandising deals, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot more difficult trying to get 18 ownership groups on board, pulling in the same direction, trying to see the common good or the grand prize. And that's what Major League Soccer has going for it. So, but I think that knee-jerk reaction is helping, and we've seen it in the last 2 weeks, Eb.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.